A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, Pad FM in Dalmongo, Jubilee FM in Keta, and Sunshine FM in Boko. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, just a touch. UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, let's go. Coming up. Hordes of Ghanaians pour out onto the streets in Kumi and Preko demonstration to protest what they describe as government's unfavorable policies.
To tell the good people of Ghana and the president that the time to act is now.
We'll get to hear from the protesters from Men's Gold customers to auto traders struggling to sell. Also, massive power crisis looms as production setback leaves the country with more than 350 megawatt shortfall in supply. Meanwhile, power companies remain under heavy debt with some threatening a shutdown.
Let us resolve that problem so that we can have constant supply of power. Clearly, there's a huge debt and the debt is mounting. But I want to say that the people of Ghana will not tolerate any further increments in tax.
And in spite of the dropping of the chamber, MP for Dansia Sokwa Katie Hammond cites more reasons to back his call for a new house of legislature, including what he says is a hijacking of toilets by visitors.
The one or two that we have out there, you get in there, the visitors, the public, the journalists, they take it.
We also have sports.
And veteran coach J.E. Sapon is advising Black Stars trainer Kwesi Appiah to step down after the team's early elimination at the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Details coming up in a jiffy.
And after 75 tough contests, Presec, St. Peter's and St. Augustine's College set up epic national science and maths quiz finale.
Trust us, Augusto, we are taking away the trophy this time around.
I know they will bring the cup back home.
By the grace of God, we are going to leave the trophy.
We throw the spotlight on two contestants who have carried the hopes of their schools on their shoulders through excellent substitute performances. We have all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And in our very first story, organizers have called it a mammoth demonstration, an assembly of opposition party people and hordes of Ghanaians disillusioned with the Kufuor government's policies and measures. From aggrieved customers of Men's Gold to auto traders unable to sell their so-called luxury vehicles, people clad in red shirts and dresses poured out onto the streets of the Kwame Nkrumah Circle to demand reliefs, dubbed Kumi and Preko. The protest is still underway, and Joy News anchor Roland Walker was there earlier.
Let me just tell you the atmosphere here. We have the security who have made themselves felt as part of the routine maintenance of order, peace, to ensure that the demonstration is undertaken in a very peaceful manner. So we have thousands of protesters. We have a number of placards here. It says, Mr. President, please help us now. We also have Men's Gold Saga, national security threat, and a number of inscriptions on these placards giving the indication of the sentiment, pent-up feelings, and what the thought processes are of these individuals and groups that are here. What's your name?
Francis Owusu.
Francis Owusu. And Francis Owusu, you represent which of the group?
Coalition for Agricultural Customers of Men's Gold. My brother, for almost one year now, Men's Gold customers have gone through a lot as a result of government actions and inaction. And as we speak, we have lost a lot of our members have lost their lives as a result of Men's Gold saga. And we are here today to tell the good people of Ghana and the president that the time to act is now. We are suffering.
You are coming from Kumasi?
Yes, I'm coming from Kumasi. We arrived here around 5:30. And our brothers from Takoradi, they are also here.
Takoradi
and Takwa to be precise.
Takwa?
Yes. They are all here.
And what's your name, sir?
My name is Selassie.
Okay, you are Selassie. And which of the groupings?
Citizen.
You are concerned citizen. And you are concerned because of what?
I'm concerned because the media is under attack. Banks are closing down. The president is doing nothing about it. And we as concerned citizens, we are not happy about that. Because our brothers and sisters are losing their jobs. There is no food on the table. Unemployment is going high. So we are very concerned about the situation happening in the country.
And that's my colleague Roland Walker there interacting with some of the protesters. And that happened at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Now my colleague Joseph Akablay is on the ground now and joins us with more. So Joseph, where exactly are the protesters and what can you report?
MFA, as I speak to you now, we are currently at the John Evans Atamils High Street here in Accra, some few meters away from the Bank of Ghana's main headquarters, and we are walking towards the Heart of Folk Park, where we understand that the protesters will converge and be addressed by the leaders of the party. And so far, for those that have been engaging, they say they decided to take part in this particular protest because of the hardship being experienced in the country in all sectors of their national life, for which reason they have decided to join in red and hold various placards with various messages, all in anticipation that certain things change. You can listen to some of them.
We are very tired. The government has promised to do a whole lot of things. Unfortunately, they fail us. And if you look at teachers are crying, nurses are crying. Most of the people have completed school for how many years, and they promised them that we are going to give them jobs. They never get the job. So we, as members of the youth, think that we have to protest to ensure that the government does it.
Men's Gold customers have gone through a lot as a result of government actions and inaction. A lot of our members have lost their lives as a result of Men's Gold saga.
Now, Joseph, it's obvious the opposition NDC had a strong representation there, following calls by the former president, for instance, for members to join. Which of your members have you seen and what have they been saying?
In terms of national officers, I've spotted the party's national chairman, Samuel Pesuampofu, its general secretary, Johnson Efiodin Ketia, and a host of other executives that have been interacting with Joshua Akamba, who is the national organizer, and he says this demonstration was not organized necessarily by the party, but its participation by various interest groups goes to confirm the fact that many Ghanaians agreed at times and indeed hard. You can listen to him.
By now, it should be sending shiva to him that Ghanaians are starving. And majority of them are the youth. Go to our registration center. When I went round, you can see what the youth was telling me, that they are in to register and vote against this insensitive government, this super incompetent government, this useless government of Nana Akufo-Addo, to make sure that Ghana once again is salvaged from the darkness.
Now, Joseph, so at the end of it all, at the end of Kumi and Preko today, what is expected to happen? What are the protesters expecting?
They want changes to be made in terms of the things that are happening in the country, and they are saying that this is a statement they are making to the president that if things continue the way it does, they can expect that when election takes place come 2020, there will be some change in terms of who they decide to vote for. Some of them said they did make Nana Akufo-Addo their choice in the 2016 election, but they are so far not satisfied. I asked the direct question to some of the organizers as to whether any formal request is being made to government, as we've seen with other protests, but the response was that this is the message they are putting across, that they want a change in all aspects of the national life, and they expect the president to ensure that people are made comfortable in terms of the kind of life that they have for them.
Yes,
you have my colleague Joseph Akable. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, if you live in Accra, you may have already experienced some consistent outages in the last few days. That's because the country's power producers are unable to produce enough to meet demand. Figures obtained by Joy News show a generation deficit of 350 megawatts, forcing distributors to ration power in parts of Accra where demand is highest. Joy News editor Fred Smith is here with details of the situation. What more do we know, Fred?
Well, MFA, Car Power, which has a capacity of 450 megawatts, is now producing 16 megawatts. AXA has a capacity of 360 megawatts, is producing just 45 megawatts. Ameri has a capacity of 250 megawatts, is producing 195 megawatts. And MFA currently, Sen Power and Senate are completely down. Those are the issues for the IPPs, and they are mainly caused by the lack of funds to buy fuel to power them. For Hydro, Akosombo is running just 2 of its 6 turbines, producing 500 megawatts. That's just half of its capacity. Bui is producing 3.2 megawatts. You realize this is so insignificant. It means that they're just keeping the plant running so that they don't shut it down completely. We understand that Nigeria is also not supplying gas as well, and it's unclear why, but WAPCO, as we know, has always cut supply anytime there's challenge with money. Is the reason you're experiencing some outages in Accra these days.
But from what your sources are telling you, is it a situation that's under control?
it requires money to fix, and so it may require government intervention if something can happen to reverse the situation.
Now, meanwhile, a former Deputy Power Minister, John Jinapor, who's joined the Kumi and Preko demonstration, has been speaking about the debt for which the IPPs are threatened to shut down their plants in the coming days.
We are very, very uncomfortable with the way the president is managing the affairs of the economy. Clearly, things are in tatters. Today, the debt keeps increasing, yet we are seeing nothing for that. And so we want to drum home to the president and the government that they should wake up, they should sit up and do what is proper and right.
You are a former deputy prime minister. I mean, one issue that has come up recently has to do with the IPPs. They say that PDS owes them. PDS has come out and said that they don't owe them, and rather it is the EC that owes them, and they are threatening to shut down their power in some 8 days to come. Where do you stand on this matter?
The blame game will not resolve the issue. The issue is that there's a debt, and it's the duty of government to ensure that that debt is cleared. Let us resolve that problem so that we can have constant supply, reliable supply of power, so that the people of Ghana can enjoy this power. Clearly, there's a huge debt, and the debt is mounting. But I want to say that the people of Ghana will not tolerate any further increments in taxes. And so if the government has any thinking or attempting to increase the energy sector levies, let me just put on record that we shall resist that. We would not tolerate that.
You heard the former Deputy Power Minister John Jinapor. Now, in the discussion of the controversial subject of building a new Chamber of Parliament, MP for Adansi Asukwa Katie Hammond attracted a lot of criticism when he said legislators would not sit under trees.
Parliament won't sit under trees. So, Mr. Speaker, this whole matter, I think, should be brought to the fore. Let it be debated. And then ultimately a decision one way or the other will be made. We don't need that chamber.
Honorable Katie Hammond, please complete your...
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Well, that was when he was making a contribution on the floor in support of a new 450-seater House of Legislature. Now, following the public anger and opposition, Parliament has dropped the idea, but Mr. Hammond has been offering more reasons why the House needs a new building. In one example, he says Parliament toilets have been often hijacked by visitors.
We don't have places of convenience. The one or two that we have out there, you get in there, the visitors, the public, the journalists, they take it. You would want to rush into the loo and then come back and make a statement. You go in there, it's all full. One or two of them have members of parliament. We don't have a restaurant. A little place that we occasionally get some water or that. Go and see. Press, visitors, and everybody. It's so insecure. You have no clue what to do. When we talk about parliament, and people are talking about comparing Ghana to Westminster Parliament, who is talking about Westminster Parliament?
Now, that's not all. Speaking on PM Express last night, he also says he's unhappy about the too much tension this has created with the announcement of a new chamber.
It's been badly handled by all sides. I mean, how can you come up with the development of this matter? The members of parliament don't know. I mean, you might say this is an indictment on ourselves. So be it. I heard it the first time on the radio. On the leadership. Everyone is complaining. What is it? What is it? What is going on? This is a national issue. It's been unfortunate what's happened about this. I just spoken to our leader, Oseche Mensah. For 20 minutes, he was also telling me about things he himself didn't also know, things that didn't come to his knowledge. He was telling me today, but that apparently few things have been going on that the majority leader, even didn't know about. It's all been properly handled.
Adansi Asukwa MP Katie Hammond on PM Express on the Joy News channel last night. Now, let's head to the Ashanti region because there's some development there. We are told of a tough war between scrap dealers and persons claiming to be indigents of Abuabu Goro, and that has left 3 people in critical condition. My colleague Nanaya Jima has more and joins us on the line. So, Nanaya, bring us up to speed on this issue.
All right, so at the moment, the place is calm. People are counting their loss. But what I gathered this morning is that early this morning we have some people who were with the indigents moving in to demolish structures that belongs to squatters who were at the area. And these squatters say the land was handed over to them by the indigents there. But later they realized it's a government property. So they were no longer going to pay money to these supposed landowners. And this is the reason behind this misunderstanding that broke up between the two parties.
And at least 3 houses have been burnt?
Yes, exactly. The indigents are blaming the people, these squatters, that the scrap dealers for the burning of these houses, but they claim they don't know how these houses were burnt down. They think probably some of them might have gone behind them to burn these houses down when the indigents attacked them, trying to pull down their temporary structures they've constructed there.
But metro authorities have been to the area to assess the situation for themselves. What have they been telling you?
All right, so NADMO is saying that they will have to assess the damage caused so far and try to find some place for people who have been displaced. Earlier, there were police personnel there to try bring calm to the area, and now the place is calm. So the police will continue their investigations, and later they will be speaking to the media.
Well, that's my colleague Nanaya Jima there, reporting from the Abuabo area. We'll stay in we'll go back to the Ashanti region shortly for that Joy Clean Ghana campaign that we've embarked on shortly. And yesterday we heard from Erastus Asare Donko taking us to one area at the Asafo area, and then today we'll go to another area. And this time we're heading to the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. They have given the Metro Mass Transit Service office in Kumasi 1 week to clear its premise of filth or face legal action. A KMA Multimedia Group sanitation team discovered in an operation the huge piles of refuse accumulated over time at the State Carriers Depot and Terminal. It is part of the Assembly's joint campaign with Love and Inshira FM to enforce laws and conscientize residents against littering and other sanitation offences. Love FM's Erastus Asare Donko reports.
The Metro Mass Transit Service attracts a consistent measure of passenger patronage nationwide. At the Kumasi Bus Terminal, however, patrons and other members of the public are exposed to health risk with a filthy environment here. Heaps of refuse as far as the eye can see spread across the premises amid abandoned vehicles and worn-out tires. It looked more of a waste disposal ground and a junkyard than a bus terminal when our sanitation team arrived there on an unannounced visit. Pools of stagnant and contaminated water sit in isolated portions of the yard, and inside this disorganized and messy space, which serves as a workshop, an abandoned toilet whose septic tank has been leaking, as well as broken water pipes which have left treated water wasting away, combined to give the visitor a bad reception. KMA Director of Environmental Health Isaac Basanyin gave MMT manager Nicholas Odro 1 week to clear the mess or be dragged to court.
1 week to abate all the nuisance found. That is our growth of weeds, accumulation of refuse, accumulation of articles detrimental to health, and parking of some of the trucks at an unauthorized place. It's clouding the whole place. They should remove some of the trucks from the area. I've given you 1 week. Mr. Drew, I'm expecting you to do that.
Your area could be next. Keep Kumasi clean.
Keep Kumasi clean indeed, not just Kumasi, the country clean. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, after 75 tough contests, Presec, St. Peter's and St. Augustine's College set up epic National Science and Maths Quiz finale.
Trust us, Augusto, we are taking away the trophy this time around.
I know they will bring the cup back home.
By the grace of God, we are going to lift the trophy.
And we'll get to throw the spotlight on two contestants who have carried the hopes of their schools on their shoulders through excellent substitute performances.
Presec Legon would like to effect a substitution. You are welcome, Nathaniel. St. Augustine's College would like to effect a substitution. You are welcome, Newton.
My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality, but I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302 633 988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. You're welcome back. It's time now for sports.
Yes, MFA, now every 2 years, Ghana football undertakes a navel-gazing exercise after a washed-out campaign at the Africa Cup of Nations. And this year is no different. Last night, the Black Stars suffered early elimination at the 2019 tournament in Egypt after losing 5-4 on penalties to the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia in the round of 16 stage. Now, this happens to be Ghana's worst performance in tournament history since 2006 when they failed to progress from the group stage, and coincidentally, the tournament was staged in Egypt. As usual, there has to be a scapegoat, and already the top trend in Ghana is the hashtag Drop That Coach, with many campaigning for Black Stars head coach Kwesi Appiah to be sacked. Veteran trainer J. Sapon is advising Appiah to resign.
I don't know whether Kwesi is on contract. If Kwesi is on contract, then if he resigns, it means he has some compensation to pay the FA. But if he's sacked, it means the FA should pay him compensation. That's why I'm talking about contractual affair. I don't know what the contract embodies. But for me, the honorable thing to do if I were Kwesi Appiah is to say goodbye to Ghana football. To save my face, save my name, save the little that I have. You see, reputation is not built one day. It's built over the years. And it takes one day to spoil the reputation. So Kwesi, my advice is that you have built a reputation. You have done well. So Kwesi, you have done a lot for the country. Your CV is there to tell it all. So why don't you take a back seat? Let somebody do something for us to see.
You heard veteran trainer J.E. Sapon talking after Black Stars elimination at the Cup of Nations. That's your sports for the afternoon, MFA.
We'll stay in the camp of the Black Stars a while longer, Ridwan. Some players say they are gutted by the team's exit from the tournament, but are confident that the team will bounce back even stronger. You can hear from defender Jonathan Mensah.
A surprising and disappointing one, because we always want to do well, we always want to go for the ultimate, but once again we didn't make it. We'll just go back and keep going. What do you think was the problem? It's a general thing. We had chances that we could win the game, we didn't, and their game plan worked. They took us to extra time, and it came down to penalties, and it's always 50-50. We didn't convert one, they did, and they won the game. We always project on going far in the tournament and winning the ultimate, but once again, disappointing finish. We still have a lot to come up. We were better than them. They have some quality players, but I think we dominated the game. After they are 1-0, we dominated the game. We were pushing, we came back, and then we couldn't get the late winner. But we had a couple of chances that we could have won the game.
John, how would you sum up our campaign?
Quite disappointing. For the past 8 years, we've been to the semi-finals. And it's very unfortunate we've been eliminated that early. We are sad. We don't deserve that, but this is football. The host nation has gone home. This is football for you. There were so many countries that were underestimated, but now people have to respect what football is about. You cannot underestimate any country because everybody is improving in football. So this is what what's the future of our team? The tournament is over for us. We have to go home. Players have to go to their clubs. I think some have to go on holidays for some days before they join their clubs. We don't have to be down because we've got a lot of young players who want to do something in the future. So we have to just support them, and then we see what happens in the future.
You heard that some of the players interacting with my colleague Benedict Owusu. Now, access to potable water for the people of Nipa Nikro in the Upper Daintree West District has been a challenge for years. The residents say activities of illegal miners compounded their woes as major streams and rivers have been polluted. But the provision of a borehole by non-governmental organization World Vision has brought some relief to the people. Ernest Menu visited the community and our reports.
A surprising and disappointing one because, you know, we always want to do well. We always want to go for the ultimate. But once again, you know, we didn't make it. We'll just go back and keep going. What do you think was the problem? It's a general thing. You know, we had chances that we could win the game. We didn't. And, you know, their game plan worked. You know, they took us to extra time and it came down to penalties, and it's always 50-50. We didn't convert one. They did, and they won the game. We always project on.
We apologize for that. We'll bring you that borehole report by Ernest Menu shortly. We can hear that.
Nipaniko is 1.5 hours drive from Diaso, the district capital of Upper Dentra West. Farming is the mainstay of the people. Today, however, mining has taken over this traditional occupation, forcing many to give out their farmlands as concessions.
We don't have potable water here. Dugout wells are predominant, but many times there are insects and other harmful organisms in the water. Our body itches anytime we use the water for bathing.
The well here was not in good shape. The pupils of the school also crossed the road to fetch water, which was hazardous.
Nipaniko is one of the 16 beneficiary communities under World Vision's water sanitation and hygiene program. A borehole originally constructed for the only public school currently serves the entire community.
We thank World Visions for giving us clean water. Sometimes we don't have clean water to drink. The water is dirty for us.
The newly constructed borehole has eradicated all our problems. We would like to thank World Vision for providing us with the borehole. We can freely drink the water now. The pupils also did not have dustbins. They used to pick the refuse with their bare hands. Now this will be a thing of the past.
Now, after 75 grueling contests, Presec, St. Peter's and St. Augustine's College have set up an epic National Science and Maths Quiz finale slated for July 11, 2019. Now, with a new bronze trophy, trips to Dubai and Kenya and cash prizes up for grabs, there's all to play for. As we build up to that big clash, we throw the spotlight on two contestants who have carried the hopes of their schools on their shoulders through excellent substitute performances. Komladum has more.
Before we start the next round, St. Augustine's College would like to effect a substitution. You're welcome, Newton.
Let's go. Expectedly, before the start of the fourth round of all their contests, chants of Newton ring in the auditorium. Like in a football game, St. Augustine's College has relied on their super sub, Newton Jimmy Steven, to drag them across the finish line.
The integer part of a logarithm is the mantissa. Newton.
False.
Yes.
Answering all questions correctly in the fourth round for St. Augustine's College in their quarterfinal clash meant Ogasco would beat a resilient Tamale Senior High School to make the semi-final.
Soundwave is greatest in vacuum. Yes, Newton.
False.
Yes.
So brilliant was he in the last two rounds, his schoolmates and old boys would jokingly name the fourth round the Newton round. On social media, he earned even more praise.
You are composed of a great number of me. Who am I? Newton.
Atoms.
Oh, yeah.
But how does he do it?
All thanks goes to God. He's the one that has been helping us.
Are you always going to come on as a substitute in round 4 and round 5?
Yes, if everything goes the way it is. It's not really an expertise, but that's how we have structured things.
What Newton will find in Nathaniel Yao Mensah of Presec is sub cast in his mold. Equally a strong super sub, the light-skinned, shy-looking Nathaniel is what Newton is to Presec.
It's just by God's grace, it's not by my own power.
But that's where your strength lies.
Kind of.
Presec will hope their super sub would deliver the goods on July 11. He would have to face Newton, a boy with firepower from the bench for Ogasco.
Ogasco, we are taking away the trophy this time around.
We are going for the trophy to Cape Coast. Forget about everybody.
Hashtag, let's talk about 6.
Take our places in the future of our country. Oh, come along and join us. Oh, come along and join us. Aki Studios, away.
The boys from Presec are already dreaming of it.
I know they will bring the cup back home.
By the grace of God, we are going to lift the trophy.
Now, preparations are underway for the finals at the National Theatre, and my colleague Maxwell Agbagba joins us on the line. How far advanced are we in terms of preparation, Maxwell?
Well, the contestants are ready. Their preparation started right after the final semi-final contest yesterday. For them, they have to start very early so they'll be able to meet their targets. As I speak to you right now, they are the offices of Prime Time, and what is happening there is that the organizers are taking them through how to present the problem of the day on the electronic board. The electronic board was introduced yesterday, but as you notice, contestants still wrote their answers in their notepad before they finally presented it on the electronic board.
And that's my colleague Maxwell Agbagba there. And something is trending on social media. Drop that. Coach Selina Mampo joins me with what's trending on social media.
Well, everybody's talking about the removal. They want the removal of Coach Kwesi Appiah. And some comments coming in. We have Sylvester Nanaya tweeting about it. He says the Coach Kwesi Appiah is tactically corrupt and doesn't know what he's about. Hashtag drop that coach. And Ernest is also tweeting. He says, moving forward, we need a coach that will make correct decisions when it matters most. So, hashtag drop that coach.
What about the players? And that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news, of course, when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am MFR Pau. Thanks for your company.